Attending a meeting is not participating, and watching is not making decisions. That's a line from today's guest, and it carried a lot of weight in this conversation, and it carries a lot of weight in this campaign. Welcome back to Local Leaders. This is a show where I sit down with the business owners, the community leaders, and politicians who want to serve South Metro Atlanta. Real talk, no talking points, just the people behind the work. Today's guest is George Kett Harper. He's a civil engineer. He's run Paramount Engineering out of downtown Newnan for over 20 years. He served on the Coweta County Board of Zoning Appeals for more than 10. And right now, he's running for county commissioner in District 3. Kett ran for the same seat back in 2010. He lost. And then he spent the next 12 years on a volunteer board, doing the kind of work that most people will never sit through. And now he's back. And the timing matters, because this county is facing the biggest growth decisions in its history. And that line at the top is the heart of the episode. What it really means to lead in a place like this. You listen before you decide. You show up before you're asked. You stay in the room long enough to learn how it works. Now, one quick heads up before you continue with this episode. We had a slight technical issue during our filming. My main camera, the one that has both of us, it cut off about 15 minutes in. The good news is that the second camera was on Kett the entire time, which is why we're still posting this episode, because the conversation was that good. Now, if you're watching, you'll see one camera on Kett for most of it. And if you're listening, nothing changes. The audio, exactly the same. I want to be straight with you about this because this isn't how a Local Leaders episode normally looks. It doesn't quite meet my standard of quality, but the conversation that we had was too good to let it sit on my hard drive. So I really wanted to get it out there. Oh, and one last thing, Kett, roll tide.
So let's go back to the beginning. And my research says that 2004 is when you started Paramount Engineering.
Correct.
Now, one thing I have to say off the top, roll tide.
All right, well, this has been fun.
This has been fun.
All right, check please.
Very, very short episode of Local Leaders. Yeah, yes. I saw that. I was like, really? I got to have this guy.
I saw your thing. I just noticed it on the table over here, the roll tide. I was like, good gosh.
Yeah, that's all right, though.
It is.
I'm in a good spot right now.
Yeah.
We've won a few in a row.
Y'all been in a good spot for a while.
But yeah, but there was a whole time there that fans forget from our side. 6 in a row.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Fear the Thumb, remember?
Yeah.
Fear the Thumb.
Tuberville.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's cyclical.
I'm ready for it to kind of cycle back a little bit. Same with Georgia. I mean, the way they've had our number for a long time now, so it's...
Yeah, but this was an under-the-radar hire because everybody's talking about Kiffin and some are all going to Florida.
Yeah.
And I know from the fan bases or the people in the fan base that I talk to, they're like, who is Alex Golish?
Right.
We know him at Alabama because he almost beat us twice.
Yep.
At South Florida. And once was when Saban coached.
Yeah.
So let's not, and that was inside, let's not play. His team plays for him.
Yeah.
They play hard.
Yep.
He's a good coach.
Very detail-oriented. I've been very impressed with him so far.
I'm concerned.
Good. Well, that right there means a lot.
I'm concerned. Like, you give him Auburn's talent pool and the recruiting base, I think you're going to be fine. I'm concerned.
Good. Yeah, it's been a while since. I don't think Hugh Freeze struck a lot of fear in people. So, and of course, Brian Harsin was a disaster.
He did it first. Hugh Freeze did it first.
His reputation, yes, from when he was at Ole Miss was good, yeah, and Liberty too. But
because he did beat us at Ole Miss,
yeah.
So he did it first, and there was some hype. But yeah, I think this one's more under the radar. Just from my gauge of
100%
of things,
and the Auburn fan base was the same way.
Yeah,
we were kind of like, all right. Obviously we knew who he was, but he wasn't. You hear all throughout the process. You heard all these other Summerall, and they may try to make another run at Kiffin or this. But you didn't really ever hear Alex Golish's name till right there at the very end, and he landed it. So so far I'm tickled to death.
I heard about it and I was like, oh, of all people. Like, just Because he gave us a run for our money twice and almost beat us.
And when he was at Tennessee as the OC, I think they did beat Alabama, didn't they?
He was OC at Tennessee.
He was OC at Tennessee, and I think that's when they finally got off the snide against y'all as well. So
I'm not happy. I'm not happy. But, it's just go beat Georgia.
Whew. Boy, that's another one that
I might get divorced for saying that. Because my family, my in-laws, my wife, like they tailgate every weekend. They got a big trailer. Like we plan a vacation for Georgia, Florida. Like
that's awesome.
They live it. And then here I come. Mm-hmm. And then we've got a 3-year-old who says, "Roll Tide, sick 'em."
Okay.
He's confused. That's fine.
Okay, it happens.
That's fine. I'm hoping he'll get smart. But I'm outnumbered. That's the problem.
Good luck with that, brother.
I'm outnumbered. But yeah, I mean, we went through that just a few years ago when Saban retired, and now DeBoer did make the national championship with Washington,
right?
But he wasn't what the fan base thought they wanted.
No, I don't think so.
But let's be honest, the best coach on the market, or that we could get, because Kirby's not leaving Georgia.
No,
Sark wasn't leaving Texas. I don't care what you say. Bama's never hiring Kiffin.
I don't think so either.
I don't know if I should put this out here, but no, we're not that big right now anyway. There's stories out there of why that'll never happen.
I've heard some of those as well, yeah.
And so, like, he wants the job.
Oh, no doubt.
It'll never happen. So, it's, but outside of that, who do you want?
Yeah, you're right. Who else were you going to go get?
No. So
he was the best available.
Yeah.
DeBoer. And he's done a good job. I know the fan base was a little disappointed in, last year, or the year before. But
the year before.
The year before.
Yeah. And listen, this could be a whole college football episode. Like I could go on for a long time on this, because the thing is, he gets hired after the transfer portal, the first one where all the good players get taken.
Yep.
We lose people. Caleb Downs being one of them.
Yep.
Because Saban retired, it opens up that rule that if a coach leaves, you can transfer, no matter what time of year it is. He couldn't restock.
No.
With that kind of talent.
No.
Plus, he still had some on the fence of, do I like this guy? He's not Saban. Like so I don't think he could coach the way he wants to coach. He finally got his most of the players in that he wants this past year. Made the playoff, beat Oklahoma, avenged that loss. A lot of injuries last year.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And a lot of people realize that, sorry, you're an Auburn fan, so you don't care about this. But, like, he fixed some of the problems that Saban, I won't say let slide. Our offensive line wasn't great when Saban coached.
True. The last few years, it wasn't. No.
I mean, it's not on Saban, but, like, let's just be real. He way too many penalties. He fixed those last year. Now, we revamped the line, and we got to fix the running game without question. I was about to say,
he didn't run the ball well last year.
Didn't run the ball.
That hurt.
So that's very off-brand, and that's where I think a lot of fans are like, this guy ain't working.
Right.
This is not our football.
Yeah, throwing it all over the yard every time is not. No. Although it was when you had the receivers.
And we had
with
Kiffin.
Ruggs and Jerry Jeudy and all those guys. Yeah.
But yeah, so, I think give him time.
Yeah. I agree. I think he's going to be fine.
He's a good coach.
Recruiting like crazy. Got a great class last year. So
and he doesn't build through the portal,
right?
Which is how Kirby does it. To me, that's how you should do it. You fill in gaps in the portal. You don't build a team like Florida State, because look at Florida State, right? Like
they were great, and then
they build their team in the portal, and then they just
2-10.
There's no chemistry. Football's chemistry.
Yeah, 100%.
You got to have chemistry.
Absolutely.
Any team sports, you got to have chemistry,
right? Especially football.
Yep. So okay, well. I would say Mill wrote a bond, a couple of years ago, but it always comes back to the kick six. And I can't get away from that.
I was there. It was beautiful. Oh, my gosh.
I hate watching the Iron Bowl because they talk about it and play that clip.
Every single time.
30 times a game.
Yep.
And I'm like, can we just move past it?
We're not going to let it. We're not moving past it. Let me tell you.
No.
Nope. Still not. So,
anyway, we're getting off the kick six.
Yeah. We'll do a
football
show next time.
So you went to Auburn.
Yep.
Engineering degree.
Yep. Civil engineering degree. I graduated in Auburn in 1998. And after that, I went to work for the railroad right out of school, Norfolk Southern. And I worked for them
That's
for
a good
about...
job, I hear.
It is. Railroad was a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah. I worked there for about 2 years. Just really wasn't quite for me. I just didn't enjoy it. But it was great. Right out of school, it was a great job. I got to travel around, see a lot of new places. And so I did that for a few years, and then I went out and started working for this surveying firm that was, working for builders and doing design and designing subdivisions and commercial sites and all that. And then in 2004, so as an engineer, you have to take what they call the fundamentals of an engineering exam. You pretty much take that as a senior in college, and then you have to work for 4 years under a licensed engineer, and then you can apply for your own license.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. 2004, I got my license and started my own business, and been doing it ever since. So seen some good times and seen some pretty rough times.
I was just having this conversation yesterday with somebody. People think owning your business is glamorous.
Mm-hmm.
It's more stressful than being an employee.
Yes.
You don't work half a day and clock out.
Right.
And work when you want to.
That's right.
Like it's longer.
It is. I'd pull a lot of weekends and just catching up and nights and late nights and everything else. So
especially having a family, like it's tough.
It is tough. It is tough. There's a lot of rewards to it, but at the same time, like you said, there's a lot of stress to it as well. Yeah. So it's good and bad.
There is good and bad, and when you look at the success rate, is not in our favor.
No. 5 years. They say that's the mark, right? 5 years. You make it 5 years, and you're gonna be good.
And I think part of that is you get tired.
Oh yeah.
You get tired, and it's like, you know what?
To heck with it. I'm gonna go work for somebody and get a check.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of times where I've thought that. Just getting started. So it's like, even though this is what I'm supposed to be doing and what I feel like I'm meant to do, it's like you question yourself. It's like, I'd be so much easier.
It will.
It would just be so much easier.
But anything worth doing's,
100%.
It's not easy. So it'll be worth it. And I think you're on a good path, my friend. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate that. So what all does Paramount Engineering do?
Let's see. We design. So we do civil site design pretty much. We design subdivisions. We work for builders or developers designing their subdivisions, commercial sites, anything from gas stations to churches to big industrial warehouses we've done pretty much a little bit of everything, apartments to big box like Academy Sports, and designed a BJ's and a Dave & Buster's and just a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Yeah, roads and a little bit of everything.
So walk me through, as if somebody doesn't know. I feel like I'm Michael Scott. Explain it to me like I'm 3.
Love that analogy.
So for those that don't know, what part of the process do you come in?
Very beginning.
Okay.
So typically we get started from the start.
So you're the first person that they call.
It.
Okay.
Yeah. Probably after the surveyor. So first thing I ask a client for is, all right, do you have a survey of your property?
Okay.
And then they'll check, and then we'll go through and let's say we're doing a gas station, for instance. So they'll send me the survey of the property. I'll go through and lay out the gas station, the parking, and there's all types of requirements and ordinances, and that's that goes back to what I do every day dealing with the county with setbacks and landscape strips and required parking spaces and height restrictions and all that type stuff. And so we go through, lay it out, send it back to the client, see if that's exactly what they want. And when they do, then we go through and prepare the full set of plans. Now, if the property maybe is not zoned properly, then we can work with them to get the property rezoned. I used to do a lot of that myself, so I've got a lot of experience doing that. But in the last few years, I've kind of gotten away from that just because, I've got some good friends in towns who are attorneys, and I kind of send that type stuff to them to do. And then I was on the Board of Zoning Appeals for a while, and so I just kind of got away from doing a lot of that myself. But I have a lot of experience doing it, and but yeah, so we go through the process then. design the full set of plans, which includes site plans, grading, utilities, detention ponds, landscaping, the whole bit, hydrology studies, and then get it permitted through the county and hand them a land disturbance permit.
Okay.
So in a nutshell, that's it.
So you're the gatekeeper.
It's one way to look at it, I guess. Yeah. Got to go through this gate first, yes.
Yeah. You're the first hurdle, and then once that's done.
Yeah. And we help them navigate like I said, all the ordinances. There's so many county ordinances and rules and regulations and permits that you got to have, and stormwater and erosion control and EPD permits and stream crossings, and just it goes on and on and on and on. So we help the clients navigate all of those regulations and permits and get everything that's required to be able to start to put a shovel in the ground.
So it sounds like, from what you're saying, the experience you have as an engineer and knowing those people to go to, but also like how to navigate that area,
right,
can serve you well.
Sure,
as commissioner.
Absolutely. Well, and not only that, but you know as well as I do. You drive down Bullsboro, we got traffic problems around here, and we're growing so fast that I feel like we're kind of getting a little bit behind on some of our traffic upgrades. I do work in Henry County, and Henry County is a great example of the growth outpacing the infrastructure. And I mean, they have been playing catch up for 20 years over there. And so I don't want to see that happen to Coweta County. I think we need to be way more proactive. And I think, my experience with in the design world and designing roads and have the relationships that I have with GDOT and county staff and would really be beneficial to help prioritize some projects. 154 widening. I mean, that's another project that I think is scheduled sometime in the 2030s to be widened. I mean, anybody that drives through there in the morning or afternoon knows that should be a priority.
Yeah.
So it's things like that I think that my background, my experience, my relationships would be very very beneficial to being a commissioner. Yeah, absolutely.
You're talking about roads and infrastructure. I don't know if this falls in the county commission or who I got to talk to about this.
Okay.
I will vote for anybody that makes it illegal to drive slow in the left lane.
Amen.
I don't care how slow you drive, but get over.
Yeah.
Just get over.
Slower traffic, keep right.
Anybody earns my vote. I'll vote for anybody for president, governor, who I don't care. Just make that one thing illegal.
Yeah.
Because it just drives me nuts.
Oh, you and me both.
If I'm pulling up somebody and they're doing this the whole way, just side by side, I'm like, you've got to be kidding.
Come on, man. Get over the right lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm with you, 100%.
Sorry. I digress.
Pet peeve, yep. Mine too.
Oh, it is. That's a big one of mine. That's a big one of mine. Just make it illegal.
Yeah. Yeah. There's signs over there that says slower traffic, keep right. Let's follow them.
Yeah. And just enforce them.
Yes.
That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking.
Yep.
Anyway. So what made you, hang on, I want to check something real quick.
All right.
Because the last thing I want, I know I did everything right. Okay. The bad thing about this is, and I tell everybody this, is obviously this is just me. So something goes wrong, and we've talked this whole time and nothing is recorded.
Yeah.
That stresses me out.
Has it happened?
It's happened with the audio.
Okay.
And it was my fault. I plugged one of the mics. I plugged my mic into the wrong port. So it's just, I don't have anybody checking it.
Yeah.
And making sure we're still rolling.
Right.
So if I look around and make sure that I see things good.
Lights are on.
That's why.
It's moving, yeah.
Because I'm sitting here trying to have a conversation, and I want us to have a conversation, not just a question answer.
Yeah.
I'm trying to stay engaged.
Right.
While I'm thinking,
I hope this is playing.
This whole time is not working. It's kind of like the camera shut down. It stresses me.
Gotcha.
So anyway.
All right. All good.
Okay, so talk about that. What was I saying? Oh, I got you. Okay, so what made you decide to want to run for District 3?
Good question. So I actually ran for this same position back in 2010. and I lost to Bob Blackburn, who is the current commissioner, who is not running again, and learned a lot, learned a whole lot.
That was going to be my follow up.
Yeah,
you know,
I learned a ton, and I learned probably as much what I didn't know as what I did know, and so I was fortunate enough to that Bob appointed me to the Board of Zoning Appeals, after that race, and that is where I really learned a tremendous amount. Learned how the county works, kind of how decisions are made at the county level, how those decisions affect residents as much as anything. And so sitting on that Board of Zoning Appeals, now the Board of Zoning Appeals is a little bit different. I don't know if a lot of people really even know what that is. So the Board of Zoning Appeals in Coweta County is a recommending board only, which is very unusual because that is the only, Coweta County's Board of Zoning Appeals is the only one that I know of in the metro Atlanta area that does not have decision-making power. So most other ones, we would hear variances, conditional use permits. Let's say that a church wanted to build a site. Well, any church that's built in Coweta County has to have what they call a conditional use permit. So they can go in pretty much any zoning, but they have to get the approval to be able to put a church there. So we would hear those type of things, variances, setbacks, reduction on, like somebody wants to build a fence closer to the property line than they're allowed to, or build a building, or maybe a building got built closer to the property line than it's supposed to. They would have to come apply for a variance. So that board would hear all of those type issues, and so that is, in fact, one thing that I would like to see changed, and I would like to change if I could as a commissioner, is that to give that board decision-making power. I know that after serving on it for 12 years and several years as a chairman as well, how much homework that those committee members do. Probably more so than the commissioners, truthfully, because the commissioners got out a lot of other things that they have to deal with other than that, whereas that board, that is solely what they deal with. And so I believe in a lot of instances, that board is much more informed than even the commissioners are. And I would really like to see them have that decision-making power. Now, nothing to do with zoning, because, again, that board is a volunteer. Like, they're not getting paid. So make sure everybody understands that Board of Zoning Appeals is not getting paid. Those are only strictly volunteers. They give their time once a month to sit up there, and I mean, we've had meetings go till 10:30 at night before. But all that being said, I learned a lot being on that board, and again, how decisions are made and how they affect people. And so I think that's one thing that I bring to the table, that I have that experience. I've sat and I've done that. I know one of my opponents loves to talk about he has attended all these commission meetings for the last years. Well, attending a meeting is not participating. Watching is not making decisions, and there's a big difference in the two. And so,
well, I mean, I agree. I attend church almost every Sunday, but I'm not a pastor.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I got stock in the stock market, but I'm not a stockbroker.
Right.
So, but it really, when you sit up there and you have to make a decision, and you're looking out at those residents or those people that come before that board, and you know that the decisions that you make are going to affect them personally, whether it's something that they want to do on their property, or it's going to affect the neighbors, or that there's a lot of responsibility in that.
Yeah.
And so, having done that for 12 years, I feel like I bring that to the table, and I won't have that learning curve, because there is a learning curve. There definitely is a learning curve there, and so I believe that's one of the things that I bring to the table that maybe my other.
So why don't they have that power now?
I've heard random stories. Back in the mid-'90s, one of the former commissioners, I don't know if it was a certain case or something happened, but he wanted to change it over to where they were just a recommending board. And so I don't really know all the specifics. I've heard bits and pieces, but I'm not 100% sure. So, but it is very unusual. Like I said, I work all over Metro Atlanta area, and this is the only place that does not have decision-making power. So I believe they need to.
I agree. I mean, if you got to trust the people in the room, right?
Yeah.
And if they're hearing it They need to have the power to make that decision.
Exactly. And it also goes to the commissioners too. You need to make sure that they appoint people to those boards that they trust to make those decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And not that they have it, because there's everyone that I served with on those boards was more than qualified and has done a really, really good job. And so, but yeah, that you really can't. You really got to make sure that you know who you're appointing to those boards to make those decisions. So that's something I would like to see changed.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. Yeah.
I agree with that. That's, I mean, like I said, if you're in the room,
you're investing your time, you're showing up every week, you're visiting the job sites, looking at the cases and studying them and studying the material. Those guys are giving their time, volunteering their time. They ought to have the power to make the decision. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the big issue.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hear it all over the place. I see it all over the place. I'm sick of it myself. And I'm sure you guys are too.
Yeah, I think most everybody is, yes.
I know the importance of data centers.
Mm-hmm.
I live in a digital world. I live in an online world. I use AI for a good bit of my stuff.
Sure.
As a solopreneur, I have to.
Mm-hmm.
I know the importance and what they can bring. I know that there's a national debate about it. I know that if done right,
mm-hmm.
they're needed.
Sure.
Where do you stand on those? Or not those, but just on data centers, period.
Yeah. Well, I agree completely. I mean, we all love to fire our phone up and, for it to work, and Facebook to work, and Instagram and emails and everything else. Well, those things have to go somewhere. But I think the key is, well, number one, like you said, all you got to do is turn on the TV or look on social media, and you see that every community around us is facing the same thing, all over this country, quite frankly. And so this is not just a Coweta issue. This is a national issue. And I just don't feel like, since these things are really so new, in the last 3-4 years, pretty much, that I don't know that we really know the full impacts of what these facilities cause to the communities, be it the infrastructure, the water usage, the power usage, any type of electromagnetic frequencies that they put off, all that type of stuff. I don't feel like we have a grasp on the full impact of those right now.
But shouldn't there be enough data that we can research it?
There is, but
and like case studies to how is it affecting these communities?
Correct. And there's a lot of that has been done. The problem that I'm seeing, just in what little I know and just have been exposed to, kind of through this campaign and stuff, and all the information I've read, there's so much misinformation out there that it's hard to sift through what is true and what's not true. You listen
so you mean to tell me that people are lying and making up data for their own personal gain?
Wow, shocker, right?
Not today in politics.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, truthfully, you listen to one side, you listen to the people, the advocates for a data center, and they make their case, and you're like, okay, well, that kind of makes sense. You start looking at the tax dollars and all that, and then you listen to the people who are against them, and they make great points as well. And so, that misinformation out there right now, I think what we got to kind of weed through and to dig down and let's figure out what the true impacts are, and benefits even, for that matter. The proponents of it tout all the tax dollars. Well, there's debates on how much is that true or not. So I think I don't want to see Coweta County continue to be just a guinea pig and a test lab to find out all those answers. I would rather us to pump the brakes. We've already got 2 on the board now with Peach and Sale. And so let's pump the brakes, take a deep breath. Let's see what the impact. Let's get one of these built. I would assume maybe Peach, since it's been approved already. But let's see what the impacts of these things are, and then before we continue to approve any more of them. And also, let's don't put them in these rural areas. I mean, I think that's been the biggest bone of contention that everybody's had, is where Project Cell was located. And I agree 100%. It was located in a rural area. Now, I think we all know why it was located there, right next to the power plant. But I don't want to see those type facilities located in rural areas in Coweta County. If they're going to be approved in the future, they need to be in industrial zone property, industrial parks. And so that's my stance. So no, I would not have, if I had been on the board, I would not have approved Project Sale.
Yeah. I think, and I keep saying this, that my stance is more, I'm leaning more toward, we need them.
Okay.
But it's the details.
Yeah.
It's the where, the how,
yes,
the why.
Right.
It's like, let's figure that out. But we definitely, we need them as society.
They're coming. I mean, they're going to be somewhere.
Yeah.
And so, but like you said, let's make sure they're in the right spot, not just, spot zone down in the middle of our rural areas in this county. So, because that's the beauty of Coweta County. That's one reason why I love living here. I grew up in a small town in North Alabama.
What part?
Athens, Alabama.
Okay, yeah.
Yep, up near Huntsville, Decatur, North Alabama. So very similar. Newnan reminds me a whole lot of Athens. The old Courthouse Square and all that rural areas out in the county. So, I mean, that's the beauty of that I believe in Coweta County, and that's why people are continuing to move here to get out of the metro area. And so, but if we continue to put data centers in those rural areas, it's not going to be rural anymore.
So what, I've wondered this, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but I question this on not just a local level, but a state and a federal level too.
Okay.
Things that impact us that much, and I understand we elect representatives.
Right.
Shouldn't certain things like this be voted on by the public, like data centers?
Well, that's a good question. But then where does it stop?
Right.
So if you're going to do it for data centers, then why not do it for a road widening project or that affects. So that's why I believe that you really need to make sure you know who you're electing. Okay, it's just as important. And you and I even briefly talked about earlier. Local elections and local politics affects people more than even more than national or even state politics do, because it's closer to home. The decisions that the Board of Commissioners make with our tax dollars to allow a data center, not allow a data center, widen Bullsboro, not widen Bullsboro, lower Fayetteville, those are things that affect people and residents every single day.
Right.
Yeah. And so, it's vitally important to know who you're electing and know what they stand for, and be able to put that trust in them to make the decisions that that are going to affect you and that they're like-minded. And so I believe that it's hard to put something like that on a ballot and get the whole county to vote on it, but you just got to you just got to know who you're electing.
100%.
Yeah.
And of course that's a more local thing, but I look at on a national level where our tax money goes. What a year or two ago where Doge just uncovered all this stuff about where all this USAID money went to. It's just like, that's like, I don't mind paying taxes, but don't give it to those people.
Don't waste it. Yeah.
No, I'm just like, that's ridiculous.
It is. I agree completely.
And, and this goes back to what we mentioned too earlier off camera is this is what primaries are for. And this is the importance of primaries, because if we talk about changing the guard in Washington, in Georgia, and in Coweta County, you vote now.
Right.
And a lot of people only vote in the general, and most people vote presidential years only.
Right.
But if you want real change that affects you, this is when you do it.
Yes. Get out and vote.
Because if not, the same people get elected.
That's right.
And it's only the people that people know, because they're the ones that keep getting elected. So they know these people. They keep getting elected.
Right.
Things doesn't get better.
No.
Either stays the same or it gets worse.
Right. Exactly.
So that's the importance of primaries.
I agree. And to your point, actually get out and vote. The voting times that we have right now are not in a good time of year. I mean, we're voting May 19th for this primary. Well, that's in the middle of school trying to get out, people, graduation, everything else. So it's a hard time already to get people to vote. And then if you go to a runoff, which is in the middle of June, that's even a worse time because, people are on vacation and everything else. So luckily, we at least have a governor's race on the ballot as well, and some of the other, bigger tickets on there that'll hopefully, encourage people to actually get out and vote. But that's the biggest thing now is just to get people to vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not every district in Coweta has a commissioner seat.
Correct.
Up.
That's right.
Because mine doesn't.
Right. There's only 2 of them.
Yeah.
Right now. So us and then District 2, McKenzie.
Is there a primary there, or is he the only one?
He's the only one.
Okay.
I think he's got a Democrat that's opponent. I think will have in November.
Okay. Yeah, because y'all's is definitely more, I would say contentious.
Well, there's not an incumbent, so that normally brings a few more people into the fold.
Yeah.
And ours has been a little bit contentious. Yeah.
A little more dramatic.
Yeah. Well, there's been one candidate that has brought some distractions that were probably not quite necessary. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you avoid that? Or how do you, I won't say avoid, how do you run your campaign with all the distractions?
Good question. We actually made a post on my webpage this morning about that, addressing that very thing. You can run a campaign without tearing the other ones down. But at the end of it, but you also people need to know who they're voting for. So there's a way that you can do it without attacking other candidates, but also putting it out there. This is who you're voting for. I put myself out there. This is what I stand for. This is what I believe. This is why I believe I'm the most qualified candidate. Experience and background and all these things, and having served the county already. And so I believe that you can put yourself out there, but you don't have to go around and just continually, beat your opponents down. You can point out the differences. There's nothing wrong with that. But, you don't have to go attacking the other opponents or other candidates, excuse me. I keep saying opponents, and that bothers me. I don't like calling them opponents because I don't think they are opponents. We all want what's best for Coweta County, and so I don't look at them as opponents. It's the other candidates that are different and have different thoughts and beliefs than I do, and that's okay. That's what makes this process, such a beautiful thing. That's what living in this country.
So I noticed you do that in the candidate forum as well, and getting to know you a little bit more, I can see that because did you play sports?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're a competitive person.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
So this is, in sports, we have opponents. In any competitive environment, it's an opponent.
Right.
So, I mean, I get it.
Yes.
It's baked in that's your vocabulary.
Yes.
You don't see them necessarily as opponents. It's just that's how we relate to that.
Correct. We're all trying to achieve the same goal, and only one can win. So I guess in a way they are opponents, but we all.
I'm not saying you're wrong for calling not calling them that. I'm just saying that I can see why your mind says that unintentionally.
Yes,
because that's just how it's kind of been baked in.
Correct. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, it's I think that you can run a campaign without attacking. I also think there's a difference in attacking and educating.
100%. 100%.
Because like you said, people need to know who you're voting for.
Exactly.
And not just educating on other people, but about yourself.
About yourself as well.
Because so. Right, 100%. Because you have to stand out as the better choice.
Right.
So, and I think in most campaigns, the ones that do that the best win.
I agree completely. Because I think through the campaigning is an interesting animal, and anybody that I admire. First of all, I admire anybody that puts theirself out there and goes through this process, because you really expose yourself, open yourself up to everything, and people on social media, fake profiles, all kinds of stuff, accusing you of all types of things, and your family, and it affects a lot of people around you. So, first of all, I admire anyone who puts themselves through this process. But yeah, you've got to stand on your own laurels, and I think you really learn a lot about the candidates through the campaign process, even as much so as them actually being on the board and serving, because you see how they react to situations. You see how they react to being attacked. Okay, because like it or not, in a campaign, you're being attacked by your opponents or the other candidates, for sure, all the time. And so I think people notice how you respond to that, because inevitably, if you're elected and you serve on the board, you're going to be challenged. You're going to be attacked. I mean, just look at the commissioners right now, and the project sale, and how but the heat that they were taking and for their decisions, and so you're going to be attacked on the board. Well, I think the campaign kind of gives people a glimpse of how you're going to react to that. And if you lash out at people and that challenge you or attack you, that kind of says a lot about you. And so, I think people need to really pay attention to that.
Yeah, I think campaigns show who people are.
100%.
They show the character and integrity of a person. And, I don't know if you want to say it, but I will. Like it shows there is a candidate who's running that not sure if he can handle that the right way.
Correct.
When attacked, because he hasn't.
Correct.
Just already.
That's exactly right.
You can't block everybody on social media that want to challenge you at a meeting.
Yep.
It's you can't show up at their places of work if you get mad at them.
That's right. Lash out on, send a message on Instant Messenger, and threaten to boycott businesses who didn't let you put their sign in front of their business.
Yeah.
Story after story after story. Yeah, I agree 100%.
I think campaigns reveal a lot of things about people, and you can fake it till you make it at some point, but a lot of times the real you's got to show up.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and I think we just, again, that's kind of the point I was trying to get to is, I believe we need somebody that is steady, that is, calm, thoughtful, insightful, is not going to just make rash decisions, because the decisions that are made by the county commissioners, we talked about just a second ago, is that, they affect everyone in this county every single day, and have a lot of impact, and what our tax dollars are spent and all that stuff. So, you really need to know who you're putting up there to make decisions on your behalf.
Yeah. What's your philosophy? Because this is called local leaders. What do you? And I'm real big on leadership. Where do you see a county commissioner? Like, what kind of leadership qualities do you feel a commissioner needs to embody?
Good question. Well, I think they need to be very steady, very thoughtful, detail-oriented. They need to do their homework, study the facts, know all the facts on what they're making decisions on. When either it's how your tax dollars are being spent, to rezoning cases, to what types of projects, SPLOST projects that are going to be supported, or Everything that they do, I think they need to be really, really well informed and very, very detailed, and not. But also at the same time, they need to be able to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be able to listen because, we're running to represent the citizens and the residents of this county, and of course, especially District 3, in my case. And so you need to listen. You need to listen to what the residents want, your constituents, because that's why you're there, is to represent them. And so that is the main thing, is you need to be able to listen, but also understand the material, be able to bring some of your own expertise that you have and your background and your experiences to that to help make wise decisions.
I want someone representing me, and I think what you hit on it perfectly. Listen.
Right.
Because I think the leaders in politics, and especially in business,
mm-hmm.
and as men, as husbands and fathers, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to listen.
Yeah.
You have to speak to listen, not be heard.
Very well put.
And I think that I want someone representing me who listens to the people they represent
mm-hmm.
and votes on their behalf, not their own.
Correct. 100%.
And I think that a lot of politicians had the reputation, I'm not saying all of them do this,
mm-hmm.
because they all get painted with the same brush, right?
Right.
Even the good ones.
Even the good ones. They're lumped in with it.
Right.
Yep.
I think that they're in it probably for selfish gain. And so they vote the way that they think they should.
Right.
Not what they're being told they should vote for.
Right.
And I think that's where they veer off course.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely.
And I'm also a big fan, because one of my personal core values is lead from the front. And by that, I mean, and I want to tie it back to the data center conversation, because I agree with you that you got to have all the information first.
Right.
One thing that I want to push back on a little bit on that, and we can agree, disagree on this.
Okay.
Being the first one to step in the pool isn't necessarily a bad thing, as long as you have the information.
Right.
And as much as you can.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
mm-hmm.
lead the charge. Like, be the example of, this is how you should do this.
Okay.
That's kind of my own philosophy.
Okay.
Maybe I wouldn't be a good commissioner or a good politician, but like I think that. I mean, I'll give an example, and I know this is different, and I know this is a very hot topic right now, or it was anyway. But I was disappointed when England, I think that they arrested Prince Andrew over the Epstein files.
Mm-hmm.
So they were the first ones to charge somebody and
mm-hmm.
arrest somebody.
Right.
And we weren't.
Oh, I'm 100% with you on all that.
Right. So that bothered me, because I'm like, we're the leaders of the free world.
Yeah.
Why aren't we leading that
right.
charge? Why aren't we the first ones to arrest somebody?
Right.
That's where my mind went.
Okay. I agree 100% with that.
So and to me, that's leading from the front.
Okay.
That's being the first one to say, this is standing up, and this is what we're going to do. Now, it may work and it may not,
mm-hmm.
but like in business, you take risks.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and the point that you made, especially about the Epstein files, I completely agree 100% with that. I do think, though, that it's different when you're trying to make decisions on something that's going to personally affect the daily lives of, well, number one, the residents surrounding the property. I think you need to know the full impacts of what that is before you make that decision.
100%.
And so that was kind of my point of, while, I completely agree with leading from the front, but you also need to have all the facts before you make those decisions. And I just don't feel right now we have all the true facts on these data centers.
Okay, I perfectly agree. Completely agree.
Okay.
Shifting a little bit.
Right.
Do we have the information? And is the messaging getting out there of that information?
Good point.
Because there's a lot of people who don't want data centers.
Right.
Do they understand why we need them and how it will affect our community?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think messaging, I mean, of course, I'm biased because that's what I do, right?
Sure, yeah.
But if the messaging isn't getting out there,
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to agree with you.
Right.
And so even if you vote for it, if you know the reason, but you're not explaining that,
Right.
like that's the problem.
Yeah, and 100% agree with that.
And I'll be clear, I don't know because I'm not in the room. I don't know who has what information. If there is information,
the same way.
I'm just saying that
Yep.
in general. Let's just use it in general, not just data centers, but that's just the example we're using. In general, if you have information and you've done the research,
Mm-hmm.
and there's been case studies, you've got to get that information out
Right.
to the people you represent.
Yeah.
To let them understand why this is important.
Correct. 100% agree.
And then let them talk about, well, we still don't agree, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely agree. And not just, like you said, not just even the data centers. I mean, I'll give the credit to the city of Newnan. I think that's one thing that they have done a really, really good job of in the last few years is their social media and keeping their residents informed about what's going on in the city, the decisions that are coming up, projects that are going to be voted on. I think you've seen a lot of more public interaction because of that. For instance, the townhome development that was going to be built kind of back behind City Hall, right, the railroad tracks back there. That one's had a lot of back and forth, a lot of interaction. I even went to one of the meetings where the developers came in and were taking questions from the residents and meeting with the mayor and really getting a lot of input. That's what you want. You want to get the input. You want to get the feedback from the people that it affects the most and the residents of the county. But to do that, you've got to get them to engage. And I think social media is a good way to do that now. I would love to see the county hire somebody that only is like a social media director. That's all they do. And they do a good job with the Citizens Academy. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's a new program that the county's done for the last couple years. They do it once or twice a year, I believe. But it's you come in for like a Friday, Saturday, and they bring all the different departments in the county in, fire, EMS, the county administration, water and sewer, all the different departments, and they explain what they do, and they go through the county administration goes through the budget and how the money's spent and how to, it's a lot of really, really good information. I'd love to see them expand that program some more as well. But yes, getting people engaged, and on both sides, not just the people who are against it, and unfortunately, that tends to be what happens a lot of times. Not just project sale, but honestly, I think that's been one of the good benefits that has come out of this project sale is it has gotten people motivated and engaged that probably weren't before. But getting people engaged early on in the process, so there's transparency. They know why decisions are made, because like it or not, there's always the accusations of commissioners are getting paid and they're getting under the table this and all that, which I've never seen any evidence of that in any of my dealings. So, but those are just normal accusations that come out anytime that people are don't like the decisions that are being made. So, be more informed and being more engaged is the way to do that.
I think people get engaged when they understand why it benefits them.
Or affects them negatively. Yeah. Benefits.
Right. That's what I meant. Yeah.
100%.
I just completely used the wrong word. Yes, thank you. But yeah, you're right. It's if it affects them either way, and they know why and the importance of it, and again, that's messaging.
Right.
People get engaged. And I think if we can do that more on all topics and all issues,
right,
people will get more involved.
I agree.
And we want that. We live in a free speech world, our country.
100%.
So,
it's very important.
It is.
Yeah. But it's hard to do. People get in their daily lives and they've got their own issues and they're focused and they're in their lane every day. And it's, I found that unless it like truly affects them and is next door to them, I would venture to say people in Sonoya probably weren't as engaged in the project sale,
Right.
because it did not really readily affect them every day. So
Right.
You got to be more aware and get engaged 100%.
So if you win May 19th,
Mm-hmm.
let's say you win and there's no runoff, and then you win the general.
Okay.
What's the first thing you want to do as a commissioner?
Good question. Well, I think one of the things that I bring to the table, hopefully, is just based on the experience that I've had and serving already, is that I don't really have much of a learning curve. There'll be certain things, obviously, that I haven't been involved with making decisions with the budget and those type things. But the majority of what the county commission deals with on a daily basis, I either deal with in my own business, being a business owner here in the county, or have dealt with making decisions on the Board of Zoning Appeals. So I don't think that there'd be much of a learning curve, hopefully. But I would like to see better coordination with some of our cities and counties. And talking with Michael Fouts, the county administrator, there's been some steps in that direction here recently, which is good to see. Because even if you live in the city of Newnan, you're still a resident of Coweta County. And so I would like to see us all pull in the same direction, whether it be the school system, the water authorities, the cities, all the different municipalities in this county, pulling in the same direction. They used to, years ago, would have a yearly meeting or every other year with all the different municipalities and all the stakeholders and the school board and all that would all come together and have a meeting over 1 or 2 days and make sure they were all on the same page. And I think we need to get back to that. Mm-hmm. I would like to see us do that. I've got good relationships with a lot of the leaders in the other cities and counties, friends with the mayor, several city councilmen in the city of Newnan and other municipalities. So I'd like to help mend some of those fences and build some of those relationships, continue to build, because I think they're headed that way right now, just from talking to a few people. But I think we need to continue to do that. And then on top of that, let's start to plan ahead with our infrastructure. Mm-hmm. That's one of my big pushes is through my campaign is and I feel like I bring to the table some of that experience and that knowledge is, let's get out ahead of it. I feel like we're always playing catch up. The development comes before the infrastructure, and it needs to be the other way around. We kind of need to make sure that we're directing and developing in areas where the infrastructure is readily available. A few years ago, the county redid their zoning ordinances and kind of went to a points-based system. And so for that very reason, because they were having a lot of problems with properties, especially on the outskirts of the city limits, getting annexed into the city so they could get greater densities and that type of stuff. So the county enacted a new zoning ordinance that was based on points. So the closer you are to facilities, whether it's fire stations or water or sewer, you got more points, which would increase your density. So it would keep those properties from being annexed into the city, and the county would have more control. Also, it would focus those developments closer to the city limits and not out into our rural areas. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the rural areas would have way less points, and you would have to build 5-acre lots and that type of stuff, which is what we want. Yeah, I believe. So, on top of that, support our economic development department. That's one thing that I don't feel like that the county has done as good a job of over the last few years as they need to, because you got to think our economic development department is competing against all these other municipalities all over the country for these same businesses. We need to be able to give them the tools to be able to be competitive, because we need to bring in more high-paying jobs into our community and more industry to help offset some of the taxes that the residents are paying. I've said this in a number of my our debates and other podcasts, is that the residents of Coweta County are paying, 69% of the tax dollars that come in are from residential properties, and that is entirely too high. So we need to start bringing in more industries, quality industries, good paying jobs, not distribution centers, but good quality, high paying jobs. For instance, like Rolls-Royce that was going to come down to Bridgeport a few years ago. I mean, that would have been an absolute windfall. Those type businesses that will come in, be good community partners, and also help offset the tax burden that the residents of this county are facing. So a long-winded answer to kind of tell you some of my initiatives, what I would like to accomplish. But yeah, those are type of things that I think could help move this county forward, but also maintain, what it makes Coweta so special, and that's why we all moved here.
Yeah, no, that was great. I think you're talking about the roads and the infrastructure and all that. It's like your experience as an engineer.
That's what I do every day.
It's what you do every day.
Yeah,
and I think that what I like about this campaign and this run between you and Dakota, like she's a CPA, so your experience in both of your professions gives you a unique outlook on what to fix and how to fix it.
Exactly.
And it's up to the voters to decide which one they align with most.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I think that's very special.
Yeah, I agree completely.
So, okay, so the last one.
All right.
What do you want people to say about your contribution to this community 10 years from now?
Wow, really good question. I got to ask that same question in the Republican debate. It was phrased a little bit differently, but that was essentially what it was.
It was. I may have to file
some copyright
on that.
Yeah,
because they might have taken that from me.
And that was one I had not really thought of.
I heard it. Yeah. And I was like, really? Okay, interesting.
It was a great question, but honestly one that I had not really given a lot of thought to. And so since then, I've kind of, after that debate, I kind of thought, I need to think about that a little bit.
Yeah.
I would like people to look back and say, Kett Harper listened to the residents. He made decisions that not everybody's going to agree with, because you're never going to make decisions that everybody agrees with. But he listened to the residents. He weighed all the facts, and he made the best decisions that he thought possible. Now, whether we agree with him or not, transparent. I don't want everyone to be looked back and thought, that guy was, he was getting benefits from this. And I've already been, accused of that several times. I don't do any municipal work, first of all, in my business. I've never worked for Coweta County. I don't do any county, and most of my business is not even in Coweta County. So let me squash those type of accusations already. But I would like people to look back and say, we are better. This county is better off than it was when he took office. Whether it's our roads, our infrastructure, again, which is one of my big things. How we've developed, how we've maintained our rural areas. That's what I would like people to look back and say, you know what, this place is better off than it was when he took office.
I love that.
Yeah,
that was great.
And that's what I would want people to say.
I asked that question because my business is named Legacy Media Group, and I'm not trying to put a promo for that, but the word legacy means a lot to me.
Sure,
just that word, and it's a personal word and a personal reason why. But I always thought that'd be a good question to ask every guest, is because that is your legacy. That's what you want your legacy to be in this community. Yeah, and I think that's important for people to know. And I think it's important for people themselves to think about, what do I want my legacy to be?
Right. Right.
And so that's my personal mission statement is to leave a legacy of impact. And I want to leave an impact on people that I interact with, this community, whoever the businesses that I serve, whatever.
Right.
And that's important to me. So that's why I asked that question.
Yeah.
I think it's important, especially for voters, to know what do you think your legacy should be.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, this is not about me or really about any of the other candidates. I mean, we're just stepping forward to hopefully represent the people of the citizens of this county. But I mean, it's about all of us in this county. It's not about me. It's not about Dakota. It's not about Mr. Ryan. It's about the residents of this county and how we make decisions and move the county forward in the way that we all kind of want it to be, and shape the growth and shape the the future, because the decisions that we make today are going to have a lasting impact on what this community looks like for the next generation.
100% agree. And I think it's important that voters hear from you. And that's why I was glad that we were able to do this.
Yes.
So I think it's important that, you're very welcome. And I think it's important that as voters, we need to hear from the candidates so that we can pick the ones that align with our values and our beliefs and our convictions the most.
100%. Yep.
And I think that's important.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
This has been great, and good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Yes, sir. War Eagle.